for those with a buzz for news.
Broadcasting live and local stories, you're tuned in to B News.
Good afternoon and welcome to B News with me, Natalie Richards.
And me, Cam Walker. This is the only show on TV that brings you the latest news buzz.
Today we'll be taking a look at the newest street food initiatives opening in Nottingham.
And we talk to a student who has been offered a full-time place in Great Britain's rowing squad.
But first, here's our correspondent Kelly for our latest roundup.
Hi, here are your national and local news headlines at 4 o'clock. At lunchtime today, Theresa May published the Conservative Party manifesto for the general election on June the 8th. Plans include a pledge to cut net migration, improvements to the NHS and the lowering of taxes. We've posted links to all main parties' full manifestos on our Twitter at Group B News. 2 Leicester men have been charged with gross negligence manslaughter over the death of Megan Bannister. The 16-year-old's body was found in the back of a car after a crash with a motorbike on Sunday. They appeared before magistrates this morning and are due before Leicester Crown Court on July 15th. Network Rail will continue to review a level crossing after a man was hit by a train yesterday. The man died after the accident near Beeston. Nottinghamshire police are working to identify the man and inform his family. And finally, a Welsh farmer has accidentally created the world's hottest chilli. Mike Smith intended to create a pretty-looking chilli, however grew a pepper that hit 2.48 million on the Scoville heat scale. That's all for now.
Thanks, Kelly. Now, the treatment of celiac disease has come under fire due to staff arguing about whether NHS money is being used effectively. It's when the body rejects gluten, which is found in foods like bread and pasta. Symptoms include diarrhoea and sudden weight loss. Patients suffering with the condition should have a checkup every year, but some can't because their NHS trust has cut the service. Researchers at the University of Nottingham are carrying out a study into the treatment of the disease to see whether money's well spent and if it's meeting patients' needs.
At the minute, the guidelines are very much based on the medical perspective and haven't really taken into account what patients actually think as well of what they're currently receiving or not receiving. Are there any ways in which it could actually be better?
We sent our reporter Ellie Beetham for a workout earlier to bring us back some fitness tips.
Hi, I'm here in Radford at one of Nottingham's student gyms, and as it's Fitness Month, I'm here with fitness enthusiast Lauren Louise. So Lauren, how did you get into fitness?
So basically I've always been into fitness. From being a small child I've always danced, I've had horses. At uni I was in cheerleading. But really I think the thing that sparked it off was when YouTube started booming and fitness athletes came up on YouTube, and I was just inspired by them.
So as you said, you're a student. How difficult is it to stay focused on your diet?
I think it's all about the people you surround yourself with. If you've got really good people, like I've got a gym partner who's really motivating. Some days, we all have days where we don't want to go to the gym, we feel lazy, we feel demotivated. But I think if you've got really inspiring people who, really boost your esteem to go to the gym, make you feel good.
So summer is just right around the corner, and I'm here in my bright blue pants, ready to do some exercise with Lauren. She's going to show us some workouts.
Okay, so today we're going to do a HIIT workout. It's high intensity interval training. We're going to do 3 exercises, 20 seconds on, 10 second rest. So because it's high intensity, we need to give short, high bursts of energy to really get rid of that fat. Next up, we're doing squat jumps. So make sure we get really low. Left. Okay, so third exercise we're going to do split lunges. Ready? Okay. So this exercise, it's important to keep your knee at a right angle with your ankle when you go down. So it's really important to warm down and stretch out after a workout just to reduce the soreness the next day. So yeah, we're all done here.
Well, thanks for that, Lauren. Definitely think I need to be doing some more exercise before I go on holiday this summer. Back to you in the studio.
A new indoor street food market has just opened in Nottingham. An empty unit in the Victoria Centre has been taken over by Nottingham Street Food Club, an independent street food market that brings local businesses and traders to a venue. The 150-seater food court features 4 hot food stalls that rotate each week and a bar in the middle.
we're getting them to come in here, kind of show off what they do to a bigger audience, getting them out there and known.
And if you think that's cool, here's something a little more quirky. An unused telephone box in Nottingham has been turned into the city's smallest coffee shop. Dialing In opened last month and is run by trained barista Luke Thorpe, selling drinks ranging from espressos to classic English tea. Luke is already hoping to open 2 more phone boxes across the city. First hearing about the vacant phone box just under a year ago, Luke quickly made inquiries and began to set up the business.
I came across it when a friend of mine actually told me that there was a phone box for rent, and in honesty, we were having a few drinks, and the more we drank, the better it sounded. And when I spoke to the guys afterwards, and curiosity got the better of me, and so I asked them if you could put a coffee machine in it, and they said yeah. So here I am.
Moving on to sport now, and I've been out to follow the story of Great British Rowing's newest recruit. After being forced to hang up his rugby boots early on in his career due to injury, former Nottingham rugby player George Trimmer sadly had to retire from the game, and he therefore decided to take up a completely new sport.
So I was playing rugby this pre-season this year and had an Achilles injury. I got my Achilles scanned at the same time. They thought it'd be a good idea to get my knee scanned, but if I found out that I wasn't to play again, I've got a problem in my knee from an old injury, and that's going to prevent me from running, so yeah, I can't play ever again.
At the start of this year, George's original plan was to continue with his professional rugby career. However, these ongoing injuries meant that this became impossible. After applying for Team GB's Discover Your Gold campaign, he is now showing huge potential in the world of rowing and has been part of GB Rowing for 4 months now.
So when I first came out to retire, one of my friends tagged me on Twitter to a UK sport day where they did a load of testing. Anybody could have gone and kind of their sports scientists look at you and look at your performance profile. From there, kind of GB Rowing had an interest in me, and then I went through different phases of testing with them. I got through all the testing, and then I had like a 4-month kind of trial period with them, called like probation, and then luckily I came out the end of that 2 weeks ago now, and they offered me a place in the full-time program.
George's coach understands that the transition from rugby to rowing can be a challenging process. However, she believes he has the ability to become successful.
He's very new to the sport. It's a very different sport to rugby. He's obviously, now we've taken him onto the programme. I think there is glimmer of hopes in there. There's some very good stuff. It's just making sure that it all comes together.
So with hours in the gym and on the water, George is fully aware of the hard work and dedication needed to reach the top with GB Rowing.
Hopefully, kind of work hard day by day and keep getting better. So I'm only quite new to the sport. In terms of like me and physically, I've got to get kind of my rope system better. So my fitness levels are very different to rugby and rowing. And then from here, kind of, I want to try and get into one of the squads next year to compete internationally for Great Britain. And then hopefully, kind of in the future, the whole plan is kind of the Olympics in the future. Yeah.
Leaves the rugby pitch behind and hits the water. We're all excited to see what the future has to offer him. Natalie Richards, B News.
And Harvey's here with us now to update us on the latest sports news. So what have you got for us today, Harvey?
Yeah, thanks guys. Now, even with the football season winding down, with only Leicester City left to play Bournemouth in the Premier League on Sunday, there's still plenty of news buzzing around. Players who dive in English football could face bans from next season. The Football Association will vote on retrospective action at its annual general meeting on Thursday and is expected to approve a proposal. Under the new rules, a panel will review footage from the weekend each Monday looking for cases of simulation. Any player unanimously found guilty of diving would be given a suspension. Now to the Championship, and Nottingham Forest, who might be getting some good news soon, as they are little by little edging closer to receiving confirmation that Olympiacos owner Evangelos Marankis will be their new owner. According to the club, all details have been agreed with the outgoing chairman Fawaz Al-Hazwi, bringing an end to a painful 5-year reign at the City ground. All that's left is for the Football League clearance, and once all that is received, which is expected, the deal will be done. Notts County now, and owner Alan Hardy reveals he expects Nottingham Forest to take up their option of extending George Grant's stay at the City ground. The 22-year-old midfielder spent a successful loan spell at Meadow Lane this season from Nottingham Forest, and boss Kevin Nolan has stated he wants him back at Meadow Lane next season. The midfielder made 17 appearances for the Magpies and scored 6 goals with 3 assists. Grant's current contract with the Reds expires this summer, but Mark Warburton will meet the player later this week to discuss where his loyalties lie. Nottingham Panthers will add Ukrainian national team netminder Edward Zakchenko to their roster for next season. A contract has been put in place with the 21-year-old, but visa paperwork cannot start until next month. And finally, in university sport, as last Sunday saw the conclusion of Notts Varsity 2017, and for the 6th year in a row, it was the Green and Gold's University of Nottingham who retained the trophy with a score of 12-9. Over a two-stretch week of 30 sports were played, making it the biggest series ever since the start in 2008. A dream start for Trent after winning the opening fixture rugby league, beating UON 22-18. The first time Trent had won the opening game since 2013. Even though UON won, Trent dominated on the big stage at fixtures like football at Meadow Lane and the ice hockey at the Motorpoint Arena. B News caught up with Vice President for Sport Matt Nicholson after Trent's defeat.
There's always sports that can go one way or the other, and it's just about whether on the day it falls in your favour. I think there's a number of sports we've really pushed on this year. Rugby league, I think we've done exceptionally well this year, finishing 3rd in the Prem. Also lacrosse, making a championship final. That team has come on leaps and bounds, and that's a sport we'd usually, for years traditionally lost.
Cheers, Harvey. Well, the weather's been shockingly bad over the past few days, but I think things are becoming a little bit brighter, hopefully. Roshane has the forecast for us.
Hello there. After a lovely sunny afternoon, I'm here at Woollerton Park. This afternoon we managed 20 degrees across the Midlands. However, that's the last of the warm weather, as things set to change over the next few days, turning a lot cooler as we see tonight. The weather front that's making its way north isn't carrying much rain with it, so expect a mild wet night with some rain and showers staying around until tomorrow afternoon, where we'll see highs of 16 degrees. Saturday, highs of 15 degrees and lows of 8. Sunday, highs of 16 degrees and lows of 8. Before I go, did you know that there are over 200 deers that roam freely around Woollerton Park, and that these animals have been resident since the 14th century? That's all from me. Good night.
That's all for today's show. Thank you for tuning in.
Remember, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter for more on all of today's stories. Goodbye.
For those with a buzz for news.
Broadcasting live and local stories, you're tuned in to B News.